Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to the channel. Today is day 17 of 30 days of sketches, and today's sketch is by Lisa Carlson. Now she has this great sketch out on grid paper and actually tells you what the measurements are, which I think is fabulous. But I'm not going to follow this sketch exactly, but I'm going to follow the kind of the feeling of the sketch. So let's see what I can do. Alright guys, so I have decided to use this Chamel paper as the background, and then I'm going to bring in that red and white wood veneer paper and then overlap the entire thing with this floral paper that I have used on another layout. So I'm getting peaks of the cream and the teal and the blue from that Chamel background paper, and I'm covering up that orangey color that I did not really want to introduce onto my layout. So I am going to use my favorite yellow paper from Paper House to use as kind of a base to fit my photo on top of it. And I'm thinking about bringing in this striped dotted paper, which I was really excited to save the other day because it had airplanes on it, but I'm going to flip it over, put the glue on the airplane side, and actually go ahead and get that stuck down. Now I'm thinking I need to bring in something else, and I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I do decide on this piece of paper from the 6x8 paper pad to mat my photo on. So you're not going to be able to really tell that there are a bunch of flowers on there, but I think it adds just enough with all of the other colors that I have going on this layout that it makes it look cohesive, right? Like you can have a ton of colors on a layout and it still feel cohesive. It doesn't have to feel like a hot mess express. You know what I mean? So I am going to make sure that my adhesive is going to stick down. I'm going to use this little bit of a piece of paper to make sure I have a straight line. And then I'm going to look at it and figure out that maybe my straight line wasn't so straight after all. So I'm going to adjust it a little bit and then go ahead and get that down. Now I was thinking about bringing in this piece of paper. I was also thinking about making it a border over on the right hand side. That's why you saw my arm go across the paper. I wanted to kind of block it off, but ultimately I decided against that. What I decided to do was make the kind of decorative area up here a little bit larger than I normally would make it. I felt like the right hand side of the page was a little bit naked, like there wasn't enough going on, but ultimately by putting these thicker pieces of paper up there, and then I'm going to add in some more things, I feel like the layout was pretty balanced across the entire 12 by 12 bit. So I'm flipping through my 6x8 paper pad, just trying to see if there's anything in there I can introduce or cut apart to bring into this layout, just to make it feel finished, right? Like, because I could slap a title on this bad boy and we could be done, but I felt like I needed a little bit more. So I've also am pulling out my sticker sheets and things because I'm not exactly sure where I want to go with this layout. I'm not exactly sure what is going to be the best way to decorate and embellish it, but I do make some decisions. I've got a little foam sticker that is going to go in this upper corner up here. And after that, I am just trying to look through and see what other things I have. So I've got these puffy stickers that I have brought in. This one says tourist mode, and I really felt like that was completely appropriate. I've also got the train going on here, so I am going to bring that bad boy in as well. Now I have a bunch of different things that I've brought in to kind of just build this Snoqualmie kit, and some of the things I use and some of the things I try out and they don't stay. Like the little puffy geotags that I've pulled out for here are not going to actually make it onto the layout, but that is completely okay, guys, right? Like, You could bring out a bunch of stuff and use every single little bit, or you could bring out nothing and end up pulling stuff from everywhere else, or you could bring out some stuff and use every tiny little piece of it, right? Like, just, I imagine my room as one big stash pile, right? Like, right now I'm working out of a kit because I want a cohesive feeling for all of my Snoqualmie layouts, but I always feel free to bring in from my stash, right? Like, I don't want to ever totally limit myself to these are the only supplies that you can ever use for this project. That feels stifling to me. And I know that there are people out there that when they have their whole room or their whole stash available to them, that feels stifling for them. So you got to kind of figure out what works for you, right? Like, I like having ready-made supplies when I'm working on a specific project. So like, I'm trying to work through all of the Snoqualmie photos. So I like having a group of curated supplies that I've put together that I know are going to evoke the feeling that I want in the layouts. But I also like knowing I can pull from my stash to kind of accentuate that. If I'm just doing random photos that really have no bearing on whatever, then I kind of feel like having my entire stash just there feels a little bit better for me, right? Like, it just feels a little easier. Whenever I'm working from a kit, though, I never limit myself. I feel like, if I'm only going to use a certain set of supplies for a certain project and I won't let myself bring in anything else, then what's the point of having a stash, right? Like, what is the point? If you want to be, and I don't mean you as in you individually, I mean you as in general you. Like, if you want to have a specific curated set of supplies for a certain project and you don't want to bring in anything else, then you should probably purchase for the project instead of building a stash, right? Like, what kind of scrapbooker do you want to be? I am a stash scrapbooker 100%. I like buying new things. I like using my old things. I like combining them together. I like buying scrapbooking supplies, right? Like, that's just fun of it. I like organizing them. I like touching them. I like moving them around. I like combining them. There's so many other things besides the actual scrapbooking that I like to do with the supplies, right? So I like that stash. Makes me happy, right? And you might be like, you maniac. That's fine. You could totally think I'm a maniac. Sometimes I think I'm a maniac, but yeah. Anyway, I am bringing in the florals that have made their way. Boy, guys, I'm exhausted today. Let me just tell you. I even slept in. Well, no, that's a lie. We woke up. Well, we did sleep in for when we usually wake up in the morning. Usually wake up between like 4:30, sometimes 3:30. So we wake up between 3:30 and 5:30 in the morning, depending upon when I got to be at work. And this morning we slept in until 7:30. So that was sleeping in, right? And then we went back to sleep and slept in some more, which is so very rare. But daggone, I'm tired already. Anyway, enough about that. I am going to put the finally touches instead of the final touches. The finally touches on this layout. Now, I really do like how this layout turned out. It feels similar to the other layouts, but it also has a little bit of a different feel to it as well, right? Like, it's not going to stick out like a sore thumb when I place it into the Snoqualmie section of the album. There is a little bit of a different feel to this one, just slightly. Like, it is a little bit lighter and brighter, right? Because of the papers that I've chosen. And I am okay with that. I don't need, I'm using things from a kit. This paper has been on another layout. It's all there. even though this one I kind of focus on the lightness and the brightness, it's still going to go great with the section. And I feel like this is a picture, you know, Christopher was very excited to take of me. He likes taking pictures of me. I like taking pictures of him. It's a thing, right? Like, we've been married forever and a day, and we still like taking pictures of each other. And we kind of celebrate that. So I'm kind of making this page a little bit more special, I guess, than I normally would for a picture of just me. But yeah, that's it. You know, it's kind of a, it is what it is moment. So I'm going to bring in this frame right here, and it's a sticker frame, and I am adding this in because I felt like this layer needed a little bit of extra oomph. I felt like this layer where the yellow paper was kind of just sinking down into the layout, and it wasn't getting its power behind it. I know that that sounds really weird, but it just felt like it was kind of fading away, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I bring in the frame. I'm going to adjust my tourist mode sticker. I'm going to add those go stickers right here, and those are the ones that left the foam on the back, or on the front rather, of my plastic bin. It cheesed me off something fierce, but look, it still sticks to the layout, so that's great. And then I was trying to use an ampersand so that my title could be tourist mode and go. However, I did not like the way that that ampersand came across on the paper, and I try to fix it and it gets bent, and I try to fix it again and it just is going bleh, right? Like, don't you hate when your supplies go bleh on your page? I surely do. So anyway, that ampersand sticker is actually going to come off the layout, and ultimately I'm going to pull out those tiny little Kaisercraft stickers that are in khaki and chocolate, and I'm going to spell out the word "and" instead of using an ampersand. And I actually like that better than the original plan, which was just the ampersand sticker. So I've got pokey things going back on the back side of that layout, so I got to make sure everything is covered with some washi tape. And I'm not exactly sure what else I'm doing to this layout. Oh, I'm messing around with the florals, right? Like, I'm not exactly sure how things should be going. I'm not exactly sure how things should be looking. But right now, I'm just going through the process of moving the flowers around and trying to figure out a good enough place where I like them so that I can adhere them to the page, right? Like, that's the whole point. It's got to be in a place that you like it, and then commit to it and plop it down with whatever kind of adhesive you are going to work with. All right, so I get that down. I'm messing around over here on the right-hand side. I decided to bring in that last little bit of sticker, and I am really happy with how this layout is turning out, you guys. Like, I'm just like, yeah, this is turning out pretty good. It's turning out, you know, to be a pretty nice layout, and I like the prettiness of it. Here's where I'm going to go ahead and bring in the word and I do follow the curve of the capital G in the title. I think that adds a little bit of, I don't want to say continuity, but a cohesion. That's the word. That's the C word I'm looking for, is cohesion. I think it adds a little bit of cohesion to the layout where everything is kind of together there. I'm also going to wrap up this layout here in the next minute or two, and that's just going to be because I have decided that all of the embellishments I have are enough, right? Like, I'm just going to decide, yep, this is enough. Except I will add a couple little arrows before I decide it's enough. These are clear stickers, so they're not really adding any bulk to the page. They're going to add a little touch of color, a little touch of shine, if you catch it in the correct lighting to give you that shine. But other than that, it's not going to add a whole heck of a lot to this layout. Now, of course, I'm adding in some sprinklies because I love me this Chroma Mist from Brutus Monroe in the copper color. So I'll get those down there, and then that is going to do it for this layout, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for joining me on this journey that I've been going on with YouTube, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing, watching, all of those things. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.